Welcome to Courtroom. It is a story of a serial killer, a gangster, and a cop. In the beginning of the story, we see a man driving a car in the city while carefully observing people. After some time, he deliberately crashes into another car from behind. It wasn't a terrible accident, but still, the driver of the front car gets out and starts taking photos of the dent because he needs to get his car insured. Now the person who hit him from behind also got out of his car. He was asking him weird questions, but the person in front of him doesn't pay any attention to what he is saying, and then the person behind him takes out a knife and kills him while attacking him. The poor guy didn't even have time to think about what happened to him. He died before he could think. This killer made him sit in his car and ran away with his car. The next morning, Tae-suk came to this murder scene. He was an investigator, and after collecting all the evidence, he left with a photo of the dent on the car. He believed that this could be a good clue for him. After this, we meet a gangster named Dong-soo. He is a notorious gangster in Korea and runs the largest gambling business in the country. He came to meet his rival's leader, who had been causing trouble for his business without any reason. He came here to make a deal with him. During their argument, their assistants also start arguing with each other. This makes Dong-soo angry and he first punches his own assistant, then he moves to the rival's man's assistant and pulls out his teeth from his mouth and he says, "How dare you speak when two adults were talking?" He places the teeth in a glass of vodka and sets the glass in front of the other gangster. He was scared of Dong-soo, drinks the same vodka and done the deal. Now the story goes ahead and we see Tae-suk in the police station. He tells his seniors that the pattern of the previous murders in the city is the same, just like there was a murder yesterday. I think this is a serial killing case. Hearing this, his seniors get angry at him and say, "Are you crazy? I think you've been watching too many Hollywood movies. You have a case and it would be better if you investigate it." On the other hand, the gangster had left for his house alone. He was on his way when suddenly someone hits his car. It was no one else but the same serial killer. Dong-soo looked out of the car. The dent was normal. He asked the killer to come back with a signal and he went towards the car, but the killer didn't come to sit back in the car. He suddenly attacked Dong-soo. Today his fate was bad. He didn't know who he was attacking. Dong-soo turned around and caught the same killer. He punches him hard while the killer didn't stop using knife in his defense. As a result, Dong-soo pulled his knife from his hand and attacked him. After that, the killer knew that it was difficult for him to kill Dong-soo. He was also injured, so he sits in his car, hits his car and runs away to get rid of Dong-soo. Dong-soo is admitted to the hospital while the killer was binding his wounds with a stapler at a far deserted place. On the other hand, Dong-soo's assistant attacked another gangster's gang thinking that he must have attacked Dong-soo, but Dong-soo comes to his senses the next day and tells his assistant that the attacker was not from the other gang. Dong-soo also gives the details of the killer's car to his assistant to find out the killer. He needed the killer at any cost. Dong-soo's reputation was completely ruined because of this attack. Tae-suk also came to meet him. He wanted Dong-soo to write a report of the attack on him, but Dong-soo did not trust the police at all. Tae-suk also saw Dong-soo's car while returning from Dong-soo's house. There was a similar dent behind his car, just like all the murderers had behind their car. After his departure, Dong-soo also gave a sketch of the killer to his men and set up a search campaign for him, and during this, the killer had shown his attack. One more time, he killed another man and took his truck, but he didn't know that there was another man in this truck and he doesn't even hesitate to kill him, but he made a mistake in this murder. His knife falls on the road. Tae-suk wanted to catch this killer at any cost. He knew that it is a serial killing and Dong-soo also wanted to catch him. Tae-suk asked Dong-soo for a favor, that Dong-soo should report the attack on him to the police, and when Dong-soo does not do this, after a while, Tae-suk raids all his gambling stations to take revenge on him. Seeing this, Dong-soo calls Tae-suk to his house to meet him. Tae-suk tells Dong-soo that he wants to catch the killer. The killer is not an ordinary person but a serial killer, and Dong-soo also thought so because no one was brave enough to attack Dong-soo before. Because of this attack, Dong-soo's reputation was falling in the crime world and other gangsters were taking advantage of this, and all this could have been fixed by catching the killer. Dong-soo's men were looking for the killer and finally, they found the killer's knife and car. After getting it, Dong-soo calls Tae-suk to his house for the third time. It was a little difficult for Dong-soo to reach the killer through these things, but not for Tae-suk because he had a good forensic lab. He tells Tae-suk that reputation is the biggest thing for a gangster, and because of this attack, my reputation has fallen a lot. I want the killer to be caught as soon as possible and you will support me on this. Then whoever got the killer first, it was his. Tae-suk was thinking that he would catch the killer and go to court and he would get a promotion like this. While Dong-soo was thinking that he would catch the killer and kill him brutally. After their deal done, Dong-soo told Tae-suk that all their conversations were being recorded. If Tae-suk ever wanted to deceive him, then this recording is against him. Anyway, Dong-soo handed over the sketch of the killer and all his things to Tae-suk and put him to work. All these clues were very important for Tae-suk. Now Tae-suk and his team started the forensic test of the killer's car. While Dong-soo wanted to take advantage of this whole situation, he told his assistant to kill another gangster because he was taking advantage of Dong-soo's low reputation. According to his instructions, his assistant killed the other gangster while sleeping at night with the killer's knife so that the killer is also accused of the death of that gangster and no one has any doubt about Dong-soo. Here, the forensic report of the car also came in the police station. The DNA found on the car matched all the previous murder cases and also with the knife that killed the gangster. The whole police department was confirmed that this is not an ordinary person. In fact, all those cases are related to a serial killer. So now the whole police department was involved in solving this case. Now Tae-suk, who had received the report of the gangster's murder, saw this murder and discovered that Dong-soo had done it. A serial killer used to kill strangers while walking on the road. So in his anger, he went to Dong-soo. Before he could do anything to Dong-soo put him down and then confessed in front of Tae-suk, "Yes, I got that gangster killed, but you won't be able to prove this." Tae-suk also knew this, so he left being furious. When the news of this murder had also become viral in the city, the serial killer was also watching this news and now he was getting angry because now he had more chances of getting caught, and secondly, such a murder had also been put aside by him which he had not even done. That's why he went to the funeral of the gangster and gave a letter to the assistant of the gangster, in which he wrote that the murder of the gangster was undoubtedly committed by my knife, but I didn't do it. He also pointed to Dong-soo sitting here. After that, the killer left from here. As he left, he committed another murder in his first way, whose investigation was also done by Tae-suk along with Dong-soo. Dong-soo was trying to find the fingerprint from the car. In the meantime, other gangsters attack him to avenge their boss's death in Dong-soo's parking lot. They were too many, but still, Dong-soo and Tae-suk were not afraid and both of them killed them all alone with great courage. Next we see the fingerprint that Tae-suk got from the car. The report of that fingerprint had also come. The missing report of the person who had this fingerprint had been in record for many years, but still, Tae-suk wanted to investigate. That's why he goes to the address given on his ID card. There were strange green-colored tanks in his house and a lot of books that were related to the devil. It was possible that he was doing all these murders as a sacrifice to please the devil. There is also a picture which was matching with Dong-soo's killer sketch. This was a big clue. Tae-suk immediately goes to his office and asks to get all the information about this man. After that, Tae-suk put Dong-soo on call, who was in a meeting at that time. He received a call from Tae-suk. Tae-suk told him that you have sent a voice note of a man. Listen to it and tell me if he was the same killer. Hearing his voice, Dong-soo confirmed 100% that he was the killer. More information was found about him and it discovered that the killer's name is Kang Kyun. After collecting a lot of information, they found out that the father of the serial killer was a psycho. He used to beat him a lot, and for the same psychological reasons this killer was murdering everyone else. Tae-suk gave the killer's photo to Dong-soo and Dong-soo gave this picture to his entire gang, and everyone started looking for the killer. Everyone searched each and every part of the city, but they didn't find any clue. Dong-soo gets enraged at this. He was in a hurry to catch the killer. That's why he went to meet Tae-suk, for which he comes to the road. He was waiting for Tae-suk. Meanwhile, he sees a girl at the bus stop. It was raining a lot. The girl was drenched in the rain, where Dong-soo gave his umbrella to the girl. In the meantime, Tae-suk came here. He said to the girl, "You shouldn't get along with strangers. They can be gangsters." In response, the girl said, "I think you are a gangster." Hearing this, Dong-soo started laughing. The bus came here and the girl got on the bus and also thanked Dong-soo while sitting. Here's one thing we noticed, that the serial killer was also sitting in this bus. At night, all the gangsters of Dong-soo and all the detectives of the police were eating together. Meanwhile, they saw the news on TV that the same serial killer had committed another murder. On this murder site, Dong-soo sees his umbrella and he recognizes that the killer had killed the girl whom he met in the morning. Seeing this, he becomes sad. From this report, all the detectives learned that if the killer had killed a while ago, then he must be here. That's why all the people of Dong-su and all the detectives of the police went to find him. They searched every corner of the city, they searched for him everywhere. Finally, they found a motel. The owner of the motel confirmed to them that the killer is staying here, but he was not at the motel right now. That's why everyone was waiting for him. The killer came late at night. Everyone was waiting for him, but when he arrived, the killer noticed the silence and realized something was wrong. He immediately turned the car and tried to leave, but Dong-su and Tae-suk's entire team followed him. They followed him for a long time and finally attacked the car of the killer. The killer got out of the car and ran away to escape, and they too got out of the car and started running after him. They couldn't catch the killer. Then Dong-su pointed Tae-suk to run in different directions, and the killer took advantage of their separation. He killed Dong-su's companion here. While dying, he revealed where the killer was running. While following his directions, Dong-su reached a bar where he saw two girls were singing and crying. He understood that the killer must be inside. The killer was also waiting for Dong-su inside. His plan was to attack Dong-su as soon as he comes and kill Dong-su, but Dong-su was much smarter than him. First, he pointed the girls to move aside, and then he quietly asked the girls about the killer. They pointed to the washroom. Dong-su broke the door and attacked the killer and hit the killer from the door and made the killer in such a bad condition as if he was about to die. After that, he grabbed the killer by the leg and dragged him out. Dong-su took the killer to his warehouse. He went there and beat him a lot, but the strange thing was the killer was laughing like insane. Before he could end this killer, someone drives his car on Dong-su. It was Tae-suk who come here to take the killer. Dong-su becomes unconscious because of his attack, after which he took the killer from there. Tae-suk was taking this killer inside the police station like an award. Everyone was looking at him surprisingly. This news also spread in the media that the police has finally caught the killer. Here, we discover that Tae-suk raided Dong-su's gambling stations after capturing the killer and almost ruined his business, but it was also useless because his promotion was tied to proving that the man he caught is the serial killer. He investigates him extensively but becomes frustrated because the killer remains silent and laughs maniacally. Tae-suk doesn't have any solid proof against him. The killer even erased his fingerprints with a chemical so that he couldn't be linked to the murders. He had planned all these actions meticulously. He said this in the court, that I am innocent. I am a boy, that's why all this is happening to me. Just because my face resembles the killer doesn't mean I am the killer. The judge also hesitates to punish him. Seeing him releasing so easily, all the families of the victims were sad. They want justice. Meanwhile, the prosecutor asks for permission to call the final witness. This witness is none other than Dong-su, the only victim who managed to escape the killer's attack. How did he come here? There was a story behind it. Tae-suk doesn't have any evidence against this killer. He, too, wants the killer to be punished, so he approaches Dong-su and says, "Our goal is the same. We both want this killer to face justice. It would be better for us to take law support for this." When he doesn't agree, Tae-suk plays a recording to blackmail him in which Dong-su confessed that he killed his enemy Gangster. Hearing this, Dong-su has no other option except to listen to Tae-suk. This is the reason Dong-su was in the court. He honestly records his statement that he was the man who attacked Dong-su that day. Interrupting him, the killer's lawyer says, "We can't trust a gangster." In response, Dong-su says, "You wouldn't say that if this had happened to your family." Upon hearing this, the killer starts laughing, which makes Dong-su furious. He removes his shirt and then tells the story of the whole attack. Dong-su points out where the killer attacked him. He then presents a sketch that he made immediately after the attack. Dong-su also shows a letter stating that the murder was committed with his knife. To support his claims, Dong-su tells the judge, "You can see while removing this killer's shirt because I also attacked his chest that night," and when the police checked, they found a mark in the exact place Dong-su had mentioned. As a result of Dong-su's testimony, the killer received a life sentence. Dong-su, despite being a gangster, was also punished by the court for his criminal activities. However, his punishment was somewhat reduced due to the crucial statement he provided. As a result of everything, Tae-suk received his promotion. Dong-su went to jail, where many inmates bowed to him. At a distance, we see a man sitting on a bench reading a book. He was none other than the serial killer, and Dong-su smiled as he looked at him. Recording his confession and having him imprisoned was part of Dong-su's plan. Dong-su had vowed to kill the man who attacked him. He also made a deal with Tae-suk that, after the court's decision, the law would not execute the killer, but Dong-soo would. Tae-suk agreed and placed Dong-soo in the same jail as the killer. Dong-soo went to a restroom with a rope, smiling. The killer, who was bathing, became frightened upon seeing Dong-soo. Dong-soo said with a smile, "Let's end the game we started." And the story ends here. This movie is The Gangster, The Cop, The Devil. It was released in 2019 and it has an IMDb rating of 7. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe to this channel.